Hello, everyone. Hello. You know, every day I meditate. I meditate every single day, and that's when I get my downloads from God. So I was thinking today, what would be I was thinking back. It's nice to think back at my narcissistic relationship, but without emotions. Okay. Uh, with full awareness that that relationship was part of my journey to awaken me. That is clear. Because that's how much pain it took to awaken me. Okay. So, but this is what I wanted to share with you. Okay. So there are millions of perspectives of the world. Excuse me, billions. Why are there billions of perspectives? Because each person has their own perspective of the world. So there are billions of perspectives. Now, a narcissist perspective of the world is just that, a one that is just one perspective, and inside their perspective they cheat, lie, steal, uh, do everything wrong in a relationship that you're not supposed to do. They think it's okay, never apologize, never take accountability for anything. Now remember, this is their perspective that's in there. Now I've always had my own perspective of the world. Now, I'm telling you guys this because I'm awakened, so I can see it now, right? I've always lived in a particular perspective that if I'm in a relationship, this is the perspective I lived with her, right? When I met her, this is the perspective I was in. I'm with her. There's no cheating. There's no lying. There's definitely no physical violence. There's no disrespecting each other. Nothing. This is my perspective. Okay. So when I meet her, I don't know anything about narcissists at all. So now, unknowingly, now remember this. Imagine I'm imagining I'm drawing on a piece of paper. I draw a circle, a small circle, and I put in my perspective. Okay. Now I draw a bigger circle around my smaller circle and say the narcissist perspective. I was unconsciously inside the wrong perspective, which was the narcissist perspective. So I'm inside my own perspective, inside of her perspective, unknowingly. So here I am treating her the way in a relationship you're supposed to be treated: no cheating, no lying, definitely no physical violence, want to grow. And she's just not coming along. And I'm not really understanding why. What's going on? Why is she doing this to me? Why is she physically violent? How come she never takes accountability? Like these are the questions I was asking myself when I was in it, right? But I know now I was inside the narcissist perspective. This is why I can understand now why I looked like an easy person to lie to cheat on. Because remember, trust does not exist in the narcissist perspective. Trust. So if I'm in my own perspective, I'm in my own perspective, trusting to inside of a narcissist perspective, trust looks like you're weak and you're a simp and uh you can take advantage of because you never check, because I never check her phone. Therefore, she can really go crazy because I never check her phone. You see what I'm saying? Not really seeing why I don't check her phone because I trusted her. You see what I'm saying? But now I can see why she felt at ease to cheat on me because I never checked on her, because that's part of trusting somebody. But now I see why it looks weak to them. That's why a person like me look like that to her. Now when I think back at all the things, like let me tell you, one time, a few times, she had came home one day, I don't know what day, but she happened to really get ready to get in the shower, and I would see marks on her body as from rough sex. I'm just going straight to the, I can see it now. But while inside my perspective, inside her perspective, I'm thinking, okay, I know it looks that way. I know that looks like a handprint, right? But there is no way that she would do that to me because I wouldn't do that to her. You see what I'm saying? But I was inside her perspective. So, I'm sure when I called it out, I mean, think about it like this. This is how you got to really, this is how I think about it. I remember calling it out and she said, "Oh, I don't know." She made up something, right? And as I walk away, I can only imagine what she probably thought in her mind. Oh my God, I almost got caught. She probably called up the dude and said, "Hey, you better stop being so rough. My man almost saw," just stuff like that. This is why now I understand why I look naive to her. It was only because I was inside my own perspective, inside the narcissist perspective. That's why I let her hit me. That's why I let her rip the clothes off my back when she was mad and never apologized. Because I was like, she'll turn around. She's just mad. But now when I think about every single story she told me, none of them made sense. They were clearly lies. I mean, they're all lies. You don't really put it this way. The only person that knows the truth about a narcissist is God and the devil. They know the truth about a narcissist. You as a person, you will never know. You will never get the truth from a narcissist because they don't know that the truth is not inside their perspective. If you tell the truth, you're vulnerable, you're weak. But now, in the perspective where I live today, all of that exists. No cheating, no lying. There's no ghosting people. There's no you could comfortably tell a person you love them, and they reciprocate, and you could feel it when they say it. They're not just saying it. This is where I'm in a place where people don't believe that it exists, but it's all about perspective. It's the same world. It's like you hear narcissists say this all the time. Oh, you don't know my world. You don't you if you knew how to what they're really saying is this. We don't know their perspective of the world. That's what they're really trying to say. That's what everybody says, right? Because there's only one world, right? And they're right. Nobody knows another person's perspective of the world. I am crystal clear of that right now today. And I will never forget that ever, because that was my fatal flaw. I could tell you that right now. I was walking around in a perspective of the world because I don't lie. I don't lie to people. You would be surprised. Let me tell you something. Now that I'm aware, I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds like, what do you mean? You don't know people lie? No, listen, I am a person that does not lie, especially unnecessarily. This doesn't make any sense to me. Why would I just lie? It just doesn't make, but there are people that just lie. Now, today, I am aware of that. And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be your family members. And this is what I want. I want to tie it everything together so you don't get caught up with thinking that family separates you something somehow from everybody else. Okay. Every person that lies, cheats, steals, does bad things to people, 99% of those people are part of somebody's family. You understand? So never think that, hey, not my family member wouldn't do that or this. Don't ever, ever do that. That was a mistake I made. Now that I can identify narcissists, my sister is one. Now, let me explain this to you, those that are new to the channel. Now that I'm aware of a narcissist behavior, she's always been Honestly, her and I have never, ever, 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 ever had a problem, ever. And I'm 54 years old, and she's like 3 years younger than me. We have never had a problem. You guys hear me? Never. But, and I'm going back and forth because I could see now, but in her personal life, she's always been a low down dirty snake, cheating on niggas and doing all this other stuff. She's always been doing that stuff. But you know what? I just ignored it because she wasn't doing it to me. Using guys for stuff, making them buy her stuff. Just she was just always that type of person. But you know what? I thought to myself, it doesn't have anything to do with me, so I'm gonna just leave it alone. I'm not around it. Anything you try to ignore, that's a sign. Okay, I'm just give you a heads up. When you're trying to ignore some shit, it's gonna come back later. Okay, but anyway, and this is the later. So now's the time. I'm like, okay, my sister helped me all my life. I created a business. You know what? I'm gonna make her half owner of the business. Why would I not? I trust her. I've never had a reason not to trust her with money, everything, right? But then we joined a business together. And then guess what? I saw the real side of her. She thought she could have half the profits, but only doing a quarter of the work, if that, if she had time to do anything. I said, hey, you gotta quit you can quit your job. Look, listen, this business makes enough money for her to quit her job. Do you know she didn't quit her job? I gave her a year. She's like, oh no, I'm not ready. This and that. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I've been doing this a whole year all by myself. I'm not doing that anymore. All right, this is what I thought to myself. We've never had a problem. All right, cool. This business thing didn't work out. Hey, just sign this document that says you're getting out and blah blah blah. You know what she told me? No. I was like, I was shocked. I was shocked. I was like, what do you mean no? What are you talking about? I said, this is my business that I shared with you. You're not doing the work and you're just in the way. So now we're just going to call it, you just get out and we just go back to being the way we were. Right. She said, no. You know what I did? I walked away and went and lay down in my room. And you know what God told me when I laid down? Sit back, do nothing, and let her show you the things that you thought your sister would never do to you. You hear me? What does that take? That takes turning off your emotions, getting angry, getting mad, getting back up, getting everything ready for just in case. Nope, you don't do none of that. You just sit back. You got to feel it. God said I had to feel it and see it so I never forget it. So once I leave this because this situation is gonna be over. It's not I live with her, but it's temporary. It's over. She doesn't even listen. She doesn't even know she doesn't have a brother. She doesn't have a brother no more. It's the same way. I tell you, it's the same thing when I left the narcissist. The narcissist thought I was never going to leave her. She used to tell me that. Oh, you always say that, Linnell. I'm thinking to myself, I thought to myself, even when I was in the narcissistic fog, I always knew that I wasn't going to stay like this forever. I just don't do that. But I thought to myself, narcissists really believe the narcissist I was with, she really believed I was going to stay there, continue our business together while she continued to cheat, lie, be physically abusive. Uh, it, it it's mind blowing how sick they are, how lost they are. They're lost. Now, some now I when I think back, I think now how did I connect with the narcissist? Okay, because I met her over the internet. Okay, I met her over Facebook or something like that, right? But let me tell you something a little bit deeper, okay, so you guys can understand something. So when I met her, I was debt free. I wasn't awakened the way I am today now, okay? But I was awakening because I had cut out a lot of stuff, cut out a lot of people. But the relationship side of me, again, this is after the fact, wasn't I wasn't aware of it because obviously I got with a narcissist. I didn't know. But anyway, this is my point. Okay, I want to share this with you guys. I was when I met her, I used to be friends with this woman over the phone. She lived in another state, but I was friends with her for quite a few years, and she was married. Okay, and we never got physical, but on the phone talking about the things we were talking and doing, that was cheating. Okay, now this is my point. Once I knew she was married and I continued that kind of line of talking, that means I'm in it, whether I know it or not. Now that I'm in that perspective of the world, what perspective is that? Uh, a woman being attracted to a man that is attracted to a woman that cheats on her husband. That's exactly what it is. If I know she's married and I'm still talking to her on the phone sexually, that means she's attracted to men that are attracted to women that cheat on their husband. And what do you think that is? That's all bad. That's all bad. So next thing you know, I'm connecting with the narcissist. Why am I connected? Because I'm that's all connected. It's all the same stuff. I'm thinking that I can do something bad behind her husband's because she's of course she listen, of course whatever she's telling me is a lie, okay? Because she's cheating. If you're a cheater, you're an automatic liar. I'm just off the bat, right? So of course everything she's telling me about her husband's a lie. So guess what? God said, now it's your turn to feel what her husband was feeling. It's your turn. Just because you think it wasn't physical, it's okay or whatever. This is I'm just telling you how I feel like God was talking to me. Okay. Now it's your turn to see how he felt to get messed around on behind his back by the ones he knows and the ones he don't know, whatever. Makes sense to me. That makes total sense. That sounds fair to me because it does, once I'm conscious of knowing the situation, I'm in it if I stay in it. So now today, listen, today, if I meet some woman out and she's talking to me, the first question I'm gonna ask, are you in a relationship? Now remember, people lie. Okay, people lie all the time. And this is it. This is the reason why I ask that question. Because if they lie to me, the very first day I meet them and I find out it's otherwise, or somebody comes running up on me, who you with it? That kind of situation. Because people get hurt that way because they're mad at somebody, their husband or wife did something, so they're going to get them back. And next thing you know, you're going out on a date with somebody that's with a person that's not mentally stable. And next thing you know, bad things could happen. So I asked him that question right up front. So if I see anything otherwise, because this is the wonderful thing about living like God sees. This is how I live my life. I live my life like God sees everything because it's true. He sees everything. That's how I live my life. So it's easy to see. So say like I go out and meet some woman, she says, "Oh no, I'm single. I'm not with nobody." Okay, when you're single and with nobody, you move a certain way. You can talk anytime on the phone. It's not really a big deal to respond within a certain time frame. But when you're with somebody and you're lying, there's time gaps. This is in their perspective of cheaters and liars. They don't know this, okay? But when you don't do what they do, they don't realize there are time gaps because they have to spend physical talk time with the person, physical time with it. So there must be time gaps of unaccountable time. As soon as I as soon as I identify that, I'm out. I disappear. See ya. I'm not explaining anything. I'm just leaving because it's early. They'll move on quickly. I'm not special. And that's another thing I don't do anymore. I don't just if I meet a woman, I don't think I'm special. I might be special that day or that week, but it's got to go further than that. It's about the mental for me today. First, I got to determine if this person's a liar by asking the question right up front. Hey, are you with somebody? Did you just break up with somebody? You know, you got these are relevant questions that people just don't ask when you meet somebody. You ought to never assume that just because you're on a date with somebody, you're on a date with a single person. Do not assume that, because that's what I used to do in my perspective of the world. I figured, hey, if this person's out on a date with me, they must be single. Now I know better than that. I've learned so much when I think back at the relationship with the narcissist. It's just so eye opening. I was able to identify my sister fairly quickly. Once you like to me, once identified, they are removed from my life. People, I don't even play any of that. I don't play any of that. I'm 54 years old. If my narcissist sister can toss this relationship away like that, that means there was no relationship. You guys understand? That was in my perspective, in my mind, in my head. It doesn't matter who it is. It's the same way with the narcissist. I was in a relationship with her. In my head, it was a different relationship than what it really, really was. It's the same thing with my sister. In my head, I had this relationship type of stuff in my mind, and now that the curtains fall down, it wasn't true. So they're just removed. Nothing personal. I mean, it is personal, but it's not a hard decision because I know what it's like to have them in your life. They will ruin it. Here I did. I shared a gift with her, and she almost ruined it. You guys understand that? That's what they do. They don't care. They will ruin it. You must remove them from your life. Do not have. I don't care if it's your brother, your mama, your sister. If you identify them as a narcissist, remove them immediately. What's up, Tony? Tony Truth. I mean that. Let me give some advice to the people that might come across this channel that have never really you hear me talk about a narcissist, but you've never actually experienced one. You just kind of hearing it. It sounds like a movie that it can't be that bad. You know, this is what and that's fair. Don't get me wrong, because I didn't know either. I thought, oh, a narcissist, they look in the mirror all the time. They always worried about their clothes. Make no, there's nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some awareness to identify them, so you don't ever, ever, especially fall in love with one. Okay, when you go out on a date, right? You ask them about their family or their past relationships or the relationship with mom or dad or whatever, right? And then listen to their story. If there's problems in it, and every single story they tell you, it was always the other person's fault, 9 times out of 10, that's a narcissist. Why? Because they have no accountability. There is no way, you got to think to yourself, there is no way every single person this person encountered, it's always the other person's fault. You're probably talking to a narcissist. Not 100%. I'm just giving you guys some identifiers. Don't point it out. This is what you do not do either. When you identify this, do not ask, do not say, well, did you do anything? But don't say nothing like that. Okay. You got to remember, narcissists don't know that they live in a perspective of the world. They don't know that. So that means they speak and talk a certain way that they don't know they talk. Long as you don't point it out, they won't know that you can hear them. Remember, they think in their perspective of the world, they believe having backup people just in case this relationship don't work. I still got Blow. I still got John. Just backup people, multiple accounts, passwords. Oh, I just don't want. They just make up stupid stories like, I don't really want people to know who I am, so I just kind of make fake accounts. Those are all excuses to do what they like to do is cheat, and it will never stop ever. It gets worse. Like like my sister, she's addicted to the phone. You hear me? Narcissists have different type of addictions, but it's not really. I mean, the narcissist I was with, she was addicted to her phone too. Just like that's their. You got to remember that's their cheating tool. They got everything's there. Everything is there, right? She's addicted to the phone. On that phone 24 hours a day, and I mean it. Talking about absolutely nothing. As time goes by, time is just ticking. Now that I'm aware, I never forget that. Time. Time is the most valuable commodity on earth. Time. A narcissist will never, ever, let me tell you, ever get my time, especially close. Now, I can't stop narcissists from but the narcissists that I see out in public that I don't know, those people are easy to take care of. I'm just talking about people getting close to me. Never again. That will never happen again. Ever. Which say, Tony, yeah, my narc's phone was glued in her hand and at home. Out of the house, she never responded to text. Exactly. Ain't that crazy? That's all. I remember the narc I was with, she had this guy. Well, she used to tell me, oh, this friend, he's been my friend for so long. We've never dated, we've never talked sexual. But I said, hey, you know what? I'm uncomfortable. Listen, this is crazy when I even say this out loud. I say, you know what? I'm uncomfortable with that. That you have time to talk to another man on the phone when you got a man right here. You need to stop talking to him. She told me no. She said no. You know what I did? I didn't even know how to respond to that. I mean, I know today, but I mean, nothing even would come close to anything like that. But when I think about it now, I'm like, she said no to me. I should have. I don't know why I didn't walk out and leave, but I was in the narcissistic fog. I didn't know. And I remember one time, uh, I grabbed her phone. I was like, "Open the phone. I want to see in it." She told me no. She said no, and and then 20 minutes later, listen, I kid you not. 20 minutes later, she comes down and hands me her phone and says, "Okay, here, you could look in it." I thought I was in Twilight Zone. I was like, "Why would I look in your phone after you erased it, after you erased everything?" But in their perspective, listen, in their perspective, that is normal. You guys hear me? The majority of us who are chosen ones, who actually love people, who actually really care for people, we are in our own perspective inside the perspective of the narcissist, but you don't know it because you're unconscious of it. Just like me. I knew when I was in it, it felt like I was in a cocoon. I was like, man, this something's. I used to say this to myself, something is not right about this situation. And I was right. I was in a cocoon. She was trying to change me. Listen, she was there to stop me. She was there to stop me. She was trying to change me into her. When I left, let me tell you something. Oh my goodness. She begged. It's all fake though. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all fake. It's basically a narc. When you leave them and they start begging and crying, they're only crying because they didn't leave you first. Okay, that's the only reason why. And the reason why I know this for a fact, after all the emails of begging, after all the voicemails of begging, after she finally got over that part, guess what? She went back to normal, lying, just trying to do stuff, just bad stuff. I mean, stuff I could ignore, but she was just trying. I was like, yep, I knew it was fake. So the people that are, if you've never run into a narcissist, I hope you're hearing me. You don't want them to be your friends. You don't want them to, you definitely don't want to fall in love with them. I'm telling you, this is one of the easier ways to just ask them about something, a breakup or something. If every single problem is everybody else's fault, you're probably with one. You're probably talking to one. They really befriend you really fast, or they fall in love with you really fast. Oh, I fell in love with you in a week. No, absolutely not. No. As a man, I don't do that jumping into bed quick stuff. I don't do that. Not That was, I know that stuff was taught to us as a young man growing up. Let me tell you something, young men, that is wrong. That's absolutely wrong. I don't do that. I don't do none of that. Mm-mm. Nah. And once a narcissist knows that you're not, once a narcissist knows that I'm not following the norm, that what men do, they're just after this, they're like, okay, this dude is different. And then they usually don't hang around. That's what I want. Check out, hey, go. What's up, Herbert? How you doing, sir? Just like we can't reveal ourselves with money, we definitely can't do that with narcs. It's a it's life or death in some cases. Once I realize who they are, I'm relieved, and then I start my escape. Yeah, once identified, for sure. What's up? I am beautiful. A narcissist is used to redirect us back to God. I believe that's 100% true, for sure. They aren't real or reality. They are an illusion. Well, yeah, they are true. They are just people. A narc is to me, a narc is a person controlled by the devil. Why do I say that? Because I seen the black, and people can confirm this, whoever been with narcissists, when they get to a certain level, their eyes turn black. And let me tell you something. There was two times that I think about it now. Somebody would have to really put some fear into me to make me call the police. And she made me do it twice. The first time I dialed 911 and I didn't press send because I had to think myself out of this situation, because when they get like that, you have to, I don't know how to explain it, but you could tell that they're not really thinking about laws, or get what's going to happen if they do something. They're not really thinking about that, and you can see it, right? And I'm not going to become a casualty, so I have to think a certain way. So stop arguing, calm down. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of this situation. Are you talking about a covert narcissist? I'm talking about, I was with a covert malignant narcissist, the worst of them all. Okay. She was the worst of them all. Physically violent, tear my stuff up, rip my clothes up. Uh, she would do stuff that would clearly send her ass to jail. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna call the police. I don't care. And this, and I'm like, damn. I'm thinking to myself, if I go ahead and follow through, now I'm gonna be wrapped up in court dates. I just got to get out of here. Not saying, listen, I'm just talking about myself. If somebody's doing something illegal, call the police. Okay, don't mess around. Don't play. Don't guess. You see something, you're like, hey, call them. Don't worry about that stuff. I'm just saying, for me, she had a young son too. Okay, which he was gifted. He was a young chosen one that I was really excited about sharing my gift with him. But because his energy was, he could read energy very, very well. I don't think he knew it though. So if his mother made me angry, I had to be very careful to not be angry. Now, when I say not angry, I'm not saying like showing it on my face or yelling. I'm talking about feeling the anger energy in my body. I had to put it away when he was around because he would be able to feel it. I'm telling you, I don't really know how to explain that one, right? But I was thinking about him, I was just, but at the same time, I'm like, how come she's not thinking about him? How come she, how come she doesn't know that if I call the police and show them what she did, she's going to jail? How come she's not thinking about her son? Because narcissists care about no one, not even themselves. You guys need to understand that. This is why you do not have them in your life. They will destroy you. They can run both ways. Yes, they are demonic level behaviors that manifest in some. However, there are narcissists who are passive and seek control. To me, let me just speak about me. I can see them now, so they wouldn't be able to trick me. There's nothing that they could do to fool me. Nothing like you. Once a what I've experienced the worst of the worst. They have a narcissist, no matter what level they are. This is what I want people to understand. No matter what level they are, they live in a perspective of the world, which is one, which is one single perspective where people like them do all the stuff that they do to each other. That's a perspective. In my perspective of the world, none of that happens. I want everybody to understand. None of that happens in my perspective of the world because I don't allow it to happen. I know people like, how can you check it? You can. It's easy. It's not very difficult at all. Not very difficult. Let me tell you about me. This is me. Okay. So everybody understands. I am debt free and awakened chosen one. What does that mean? So if I date somebody, the first thing I need to know if they're in debt. If they're in debt, we're not dating. That's like 99% of the population are in debt. Do you guys understand? So that eliminates a lot of women because most narcissists they're probably in debt because they lie, cheat, steal, do all that stuff. So 9 times out of 10, they're in debt. So that'll eliminate them. And then there's a psychological part. I'm asking them the questions. Hey, what happened to your last relationships? And you remember, narcissists don't know anything outside of their perspective. They have no idea other perspectives. Even though there's billions of other perspectives, they only know of one. So they're going to speak a certain way. Hey, what happened? Oh man, it was their fault. It was my mom, dad's fault. It was my girlfriend's fault. It was an ex-girlfriend's fault. It was my son's fault. It was my daughter's fault. See you later. You listen for apologies, accountability. Narcissists have none. They don't listen. They don't know that. They think not apologizing is normal. If you're in a relationship and your boyfriend slaps you and then you have sex with him, that means that's how they say sorry to you. Goes for the woman too. That is crystal clear to me today. I remember that. I remember we used to get in a fight. Listen, fight every single week. And then we would, everybody says, oh, everybody loves that makeup sex. And then when we have sex, and then it'll be over. I'm like, wait a minute, you still got to apologize for what you did. No, the sex said sorry to them. I said to myself, I got to stop having sex with her. She didn't think I could do that. But when I started, she threw a tantrum. Don't get me wrong. Oh my God. Then, of course, then she started throwing out the things that she was already doing. You hear me? She started saying, well, I guess I got to go get it from somewhere else. I'm this and this and that. You're already doing it. You're already doing it. They do. Their bubble, that's the bubble, their perspective. It's really not hard to identify a narcissist. They're glued to their phone. Remember, when I don't live in that perspective, I'm not glued to my phone. I don't have multiple social media accounts. I don't have people texting me all day, and that's a perspective, people. That's not everybody. That's the people that live in that perspective. So when you come across it, you go on a, like, say, like, you go out on a date, and the person will can't put their phone away on the date. That's the last date. That's the only date. Those are red flags, people. I'm not going to go out on a date and have to tell my date to put their phone away. That's it. No, not doing any of that. Those are red flags. But people, most people get hung up on sex. They want the sex so bad, man or woman. They be overlooking the red flags. And then when sex gets involved, it starts confusing things. Because that's the narcissist's main weapon. That's the most powerful thing on earth is sex. So they use it. So if I come across a narcissist and they're expecting that, and I say, "Oh yeah, I don't do that. Yeah, I don't do that like that. I got to know who you are and this and that." They're going to be out of here because there are millions of other men that do not think like me. That's cool with me. I don't care. And you guys got to also remember, when I identify a narcissist, I look at them very differently. I don't look at them the same way as regular people. I speak to them different. I have a different tone, uh, everything. So they understand that I can see them. I will do that until the day I die because I don't want anybody. If there's somebody that comes across this channel and they've never actually fell in love, I guarantee you probably got a narcissist in your family. How do you identify? Here's the easiest one. Here's the easiest way to identify a narcissist in your family: a family member that doesn't apologize for all the shit they do. And then the family keeps going on as if the person didn't do it. They keep going on with Christmas. Hey, you showing up for so and so's birthday? The one that keeps treating you like shit. You showing up for no. My family knows. You're not my family. I'm out of here. I'm not living that fake life. That's so uncomfortable during holidays. Who knows how many secrets are in the family? Man, hell no. You gotta remember that narcissist, when you let them do whatever they do, that means you are in their perspective because they're allowed to do whatever they do. Oh, I don't want to say anything. It might make them angry. I don't give a fuck if they get mad. So what? Put up a put up a boundary. That's it. Put up a boundary. You'll get a quick man. You'll find a narcissist so quick. Put up a boundary. Hey man, you know what? Since you're always late, I don't want you here or whatever. Something that they're doing that they keep on doing, and you keep repeating yourself over and over to tell them to stop doing, but they keep on doing. Put up a boundary and put up a consequence for it, and stand on it. Watch it. Watch what happens. Watch. I'm giving you guys the game to make narcissists pop out on you, make them do the things that you never thought they would do to you. Just like my sister. I'm amazed every single day. Still, I'm just watching like a movie. I'm looking at her like, damn, you don't even know you don't have a brother no more. They still walk around with a steak ass, just walking around like it ain't a big deal. I know you guys always make it seem like that. They always listen. If you're with a narcissist and they're walking around like you don't mean shit and nothing like that, they're only acting like that because you're physically in front of them. I promise you. They know where you're at. That's why they're not tripping. You're here, you're in a house, sitting on the couch or whatever, right? That's how the ex narcissist used to act then. She used to do the same thing as what my sister is doing. And I always know the result. The crying's going to come after I leave, but it's going to be 100 times worse for her because I'm a brother. Right now, it ain't shit. And I ain't talked to her in a month. You hear me? A month. And we live in the same house, temporarily, of course. I don't play with narcissists in my life. Even this right here with my sister, this is part of my journey, people. This is part of my journey. There was no other way for me to identify my sister as a narcissist. There was no other way. At least a narcissist towards me. But now when I put it all together, she's been doing that shit for a long time, just to other dudes. It's just my first time she's doing it to me. That's it. Guess what? It will never happen again because I won't ever give her the chance to do it. You do not, listen, you can if you want to, but you do not give a narcissist a second chance to bite you. You do not do that. That's why I look so naive in their perspective of the world. It's like, damn, she's just cheating on me and not really. I mean, she was getting bad. She was just cheating on me, not really caring if the phone was dude calls the dude she wouldn't stop calling. He would call the phone. I would just look at it. She'd be on the phone with her ex-boyfriend. They'd be chit-chat. I'm like, damn, you got time to talk to all these niggas, but not me. Because I was unconscious. You hear me? I'm telling you guys this because that's not me anymore. That will never be me again. And what I'm gonna do is spend the rest of my life making sure if you haven't if you haven't run into a narcissist or fell in love with one, and you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you, I'm here for you. I'm here for the people stuck in the narcissistic fog. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't. So I start telling the stories about myself being stuck in the narcissistic fog. It's pretty much all the same. Narcissists have a pattern: lying, cheating, no accountability, never saying sorry for nothing, no matter how minor. Uh, you know, here's another one. Here's another one for the people that have never experienced any kind of relationship with a narcissist. If you're say like they're your friend, okay, and you guys are in the car driving, and they're telling you a story. Maybe it's about themselves, but then something doesn't make sense because they told you something earlier that doesn't go with the story that they're telling you today, because they can't keep track of their lies. Always pay attention. Lie is very difficult because not only are they lying to you, they're lying to whoever they're cheating with you on. There's a whole bunch of lying going on, so they can't keep up with them all. Right now, if it's a if it's a early relationship, you stop and you make them make that story make sense. You do not let it slide. You say, hey, wait a minute. On so and so day, you told me this, that, and this, but today you said the same thing, but it's this, that. Which one is it? And when they reply, the story has to make sense. Okay. Don't just believe something they just throw together, because the truth flows. The truth flows no matter how you tell it today, 10 years from today, 100 years from today. The truth flows. So they start doing that kind of stuff, and then their attitudes start changing. What you think, I'm lying? This and that. Start doing that. That's a red flag, because you just asked them a question. Now trying to make it a bigger deal than this is how they started. They'll start getting an attitude, and you got a decision to make at that moment. You could say, "See you later. I don't hang around people that do that," or you start to say, "Okay, I'm not going to ask them that because they get upset." Exactly where they want to put you. So when they do questionable things or say questionable things and you catch them in a lie, you're hesitant to say anything because you're scared about how they're going to respond or react to you questioning them. Do not get caught, and that's putting you in their perspective of the world. Don't let that happen. I just can't believe it's people like this. I was married to a covert narcissist. I was with mine for about 6 years. And when I think back about my past relationships, I understand why narcissists, they always say opposites attract. Now I understand why a narcissist would be attracted to me and I to them, because as an unconscious an unconscious chosen one, not aware of narcissists, a narcissist sees me and see I seem a very like an easy target. I trust. I don't check on her. I I'm not worried about her having multiple social media accounts. I'm not, because I'm living in my own perspective inside of her perspective. In my perspective, I'm assuming that she's doing the same things I'm doing. She's thinking the same way I'm thinking, because we're telling each other we love each other. Again, when I say I love her, you gotta remember, love doesn't mean the same thing in their perspective. That means I got you. In their perspective means I can do anything I want to you now because you fall in love with me. You see, that's the difference. But in my perspective, oh, you love me. Okay, we trust each other. We're gonna bring each other up. We're gonna, be successful in the world together. We're gonna do it together. No, mine was pretty bad. She was a very bad person. And again, I was saying the only person that's gonna I think, be able to help her is God. That's the only person that's gonna be able to help her. She is a very, very bad person. I could tell there's a few people in her life that are probably nervous to call her out on her shit, because she's cold with it. She will take away things and not think twice about who's affected and why she would do that. Because what she did to me is like, she just didn't care. It's just like, this is just what she does. And I don't want anybody, if I can help just one person not experience that because they listen to this video, I've done my work. Give you guys clues when you're out on this, you're out in this world trying to find your mate and all this other stuff. You're looking on the internet and you're thinking, what's the right app? And no, it's none of that stuff. It's none of that. It's all mental. You got to find out. It doesn't matter what a person looks like. It's what's up in that head of theirs. What's going on? How were they raised? Were they raised by loving parents? Were they not? Were they? All of that counts. Everybody. That's important. All of it's important. When I was younger, I didn't really think about that. Hey, how's your relationship with your parents? Uh, it, I didn't think about any of that. Now, today, those are questions that I'm asking because they're important questions. You come across somebody that says, "Oh, f my dad, f my mom." Yeah, no, you can't. That person can't possibly have the same kind of love, because I love my mother and she loves me. So I'm thinking, there's okay. You can't possibly have the same. You can't possibly know of the same word love than I do. That's how I think today. I'm 54 and I'm awakened now. Whoever I meet, she has to already be here. You guys understand? She has to be here, awakened, already gone through her own stuff. She's already everything. How will I know? You're probably asking yourself, how? It's a language, people. She will speak like me. She will speak exactly like me. There's no, there's, you can't fake it. First, you have to know it exists. Once you know it exists, you start to speak a different way. And that's how I'm speaking. I know I'm a chosen one for a fact. Now, people that don't understand it or don't believe. That's why I created SMD, so I could show you. Because the only way to show people that do not know, never heard of it, never don't believe it, I can show. I'm the only person that could. Well, not the only person. I'm one of the people, the chosen ones, that can show you with mathematics that there's something that you cannot see. I can show you with math. Like here, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. You cannot buy a house with a mortgage. Now, most of you are probably thinking, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" The only thing I did was just state a mathematical fact. You cannot buy a house with a mortgage. That's all I did. Millions of people don't know that. Millions, millions of people do not know that mathematical fact. You're probably saying, "Well, what does that mean?" I just showed you something. How come they don't know? It's psychological. They don't know that. It doesn't take 30 years to buy a house. It only takes 1 day. Yeah, if you're rich and this and that, that's then they start running the program. See, that's these are mathematical facts that I'm sharing with you. That's a gift of mine that was given to me. That was one of my gifts. What do I do with that? I help people own themselves in the United States of America. Once they put it this way, once my clients physically free themselves, they automatically understand that there's more once they free themselves, because all my clients have never been free. If you're a person to this, if you're a person listening to this, right, and you've had debt all your life, guess what that means? You've never been free. So you don't know what it feels like. I'm just explaining it to you. Once my clients free themselves, they're like, wait a minute, it's about time and energy. Yes, it is. Then everything changes after that. Not only for them, generationally. This is forever. I had to be prepared for what I'm sharing with you guys today. Why? So I don't mess up my gift. I had to be a very mature person before God gave me this gift. Why? So I never mess it up. I will never I will never disrespect it. I will never use it to lie and to cheat people and steal their money with it. That God would take it away. So I would never do that. How can I had to be mature enough to handle that? Hello, Jasmine. Do I know what God has in store for me with this gift? I do not. I used to do that. I used to think, oh, I'm gonna use it for this and do it for that. No, that is to be determined and always will be. When I feel it like this, pointing out narcissists, helping others that haven't experienced a narcissistic relationship, tell you their habits and what they do, but so you don't have to experience that. That's what I'm here for. So you don't have to experience that because it's very horrible. It's horrible. Some people get in it, stay in a few years. Some stay in it for 20 years. Some stay in it all their lives. Some don't make it out. If you're listening to this and you're in it right now and you understand what I'm saying, I'm gonna say that one more time. Some never make it out. I don't know what that means. I'm just telling you something. A narcissist perspective of the world is hell. Do not get yourself caught up in that. No matter what they look like, no matter how much money they have, no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what your friends think. Would this would go together? Especially, listen, especially having children with a narcissist. You most definitely do not want to do that. Definitely. Mm. All right, I'm gonna wrap this one up. It's been an hour. Unless you guys got some questions. If you got some questions, I'll stay. But if not, go ahead and wrap it up. If you catch it later, you can email me at savings. Yeah, because I ain't got an email for this one yet. Savings-debt at gmail.com. Savings-debt at gmail.com for a consultation, talk. Some people just want to talk to me, ask me some questions. Maybe a couple people were actually in it. And it's crazy to when I talk to them, I can tell where they're at, if that makes sense. And then I know what information they are ready to hear. Because there's a lot of people in these relationships, they still see this image of the person they're with from the very beginning and just can't let it go and believe that that was fake or whatever, right? That's real, people. That's real. Put it this way, if you're a person like that maybe you were just the same way, right? Let me just use myself, right? I had this particular image of my ex-narc, and it was hard for me to let it go till I finally did. But what I realized is that I also did that with a lot of people, not just the narc. I did it with my sister, my sons. I have this image over these people that they're getting older, they're grown-ups. It's that part's hard to explain. I'll get the words down real quick, but one day, how do you move on when you have children with a narc? That's a very good question, Jasmine. This is what I suggest. Okay, I suggest keeping contact to a very bare minimum. No extra talking. Push everything that you can to email, because this is what I want. I want people here to understand energy, because energy is real. If you're in a relationship with a person and when you guys have children and this person is just a bad person, when they send you text messages and you say, I'm not going to respond, this and that, you really are responding by not responding, because they know the energy that they're sending in that text is reaching you, even if you don't respond. Okay. So they know it's going to make a connection because they just know, right? But if you can push everything to email, like just non-emergency stuff, only phone calls are reserved for emergencies only, text message only, they will stop. It cuts that energy that they're trying to send to you, because they know if they send it to email, who knows when you're going to get it, when you're going to look at it. It doesn't matter. They know text message is immediate. Energy is real. They know that. They can ruin your day. You could be having a good day and a text message comes through that's horrible. That's it. Day's ruined. You don't want to allow them to do that. So you push that to email, push it to get a secondary phone. You only turn it on when you need to. Something. It says, did you age backwards after getting rid of? I did. I did. So crazy. Uh, everybody, I was with the narcissist for like 6 years. Everybody in my family was telling me that I was not looking good. Here I am thinking I was fooling people. Hell, because I've always taken care of myself, my body, blah blah blah. They were like, "Man, you looking." you're kind of looking thin a little bit, man. And then, oh no, I'm not here. I'm in denial. No, I'm not. You know, I'm doing all that stuff, right? And and then one day I just looked in the mirror. I said, okay, she's destroying me. She is. Narcissists are narcissists are here to destroy, to stop chosen ones. That's their purpose. They're the devil has full control over them, honestly, obviously, right? And he just uses them to stop chosen one. And she came close. She came very close. I always tell people I had to ask God to get me out of that situation. I think about this one time. They're not. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I understand that there are synchronicities. I remember because I lived with her in another state, away from my family. All I had was her. I mean, the perfect. Let me tell you, this was the perfect scenario for a narcissist. I was across the country, no other family. The only person I knew was her. She was loving it. Luckily, I had my own car, okay, my own truck. I had my own truck, luckily, because if I didn't have my own ride, she would have tortured me because I wouldn't be able to leave. When she would go crazy, I would just hop in my truck and leave. I would have to hide my keys and my wallet because she would, if she was starting to fight, this is so crazy, okay? If she would start a fight, she know I would just leave. So she would try to find my keys and my wallet so I couldn't leave, so I could have to stay there. Well, anyway, we had started this business, right? And I have this older truck that's worth a lot of money because it's very clean. Okay, and so we needed some money to do some stuff with the business, invest in the business, get some machines or something. Right. I was going to sell my truck, take the money, and just dump it all into the business. Right. I remember I was cleaning it out. I got some for sale signs and everything. And so one day I'm driving to somewhere to the store. I'm at a four-way stop. Okay, I stop. I look both ways. Everybody stopped, and then I smash on the gas to go because I was the first one. Next thing you know, from my right, an older lady comes, bam, hits me on the side and side front. Okay, I was like, oh my God, I've had these trucks all these years and never been in an accident. It wasn't a bad one. It wasn't really bad, right? It wasn't. It was she was an old lady. Clearly, it was an accident. She just went and didn't see whatever, right? Well, this is how I look at that. It was God's way of telling me not to sell that truck because if I would have sold that truck, she would have had 100% control over me. I wouldn't have been able to leave. She sure wouldn't have let me use her car to leave. She would have been like, you can't use my car. You only use my car when I tell you, thank God that accident happened. It got fixed. And of course, when it got hit, I couldn't sell it. It was damaged, so I couldn't sell it. So the sale immediately stopped. Immediately stopped. Excuse me. And afterwards, now that I'm out, I think about him like, oh, because I still didn't really accept that she was a narcissist at that particular time. So God was stopping me from doing something even more dumb. So, all right. Well, you're welcome, Jasmine. You are very welcome. Been in that situation with the kid thing, man. My time is over with that. Uh, that's just what I did. I had a pretty bad baby's mother, and I had to push her to email. I had to make sure she knew that she did not have direct contact to me. That is very important to make sure a narcissist understands that they do not have direct contact to you because they will use it, text messages, but email's different. It's like I'll get to it when I get to it. Even if you get your email on your phone, you see their name come across, you don't have to look at it. You can come back to it later. Text message is right in your face, because you got other people texting you too. So, all right. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening, a wonderful afternoon. Well, I don't know where you guys are at, but here in Washington State, it's just 30 minutes after 12. All right. The youngest is about to be 15, 3 more years. Well, you could actually start now. I mean, it counts on, the maturity level of your 15-year-old, but you can kind of, if your youngest is 15, you can start now. You can start. There's really no too many emergency phone calls. Those kids, that they got their own phones if they need to talk to dad. Excuse me. One second. There's really no more direct talking at that particular age. So I just think it's important, especially that you can really cut that off right now. You can cut that direct contact off right now. Say, hey, I'm gonna give you my email, and you can contact me through email or, uh, you know, maybe one of kids' phones or something. Who knows? But you know, something that they know is just like it's something that they have to know. Trust me, it works. I promise. But anyway, you guys have a good one. Talk to you later.